last 2 days. Just kind of what went into that decision, and what do you see differently from him today that allowed him to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of it was, trying to get a message across to a couple of the guys that I think they got yesterday. And then today it was just kind of rolling with, we wanted to have some balance in there, and that's kind of how it's set up with some right-left stuff. But just saw more determination and more attitude. He's obviously got a good skill set and he knows how to play the game, but I think the way he plays when he's got a little bit of edge to him is kind of what fits in here, and it seems to be his best. So on top of that, the physical part wasn't really rushing to the ball, but I think they're both kind of one and the same. When you have that edge and a little bit of extra confidence or just the right mindset, you're going to be less likely to go outside of yourself or the old try and do too much.
What did you see from Dean?
He was good. I think a couple defensive plays. If we make him behind him, maybe he's out there a little bit longer. But all along, we knew we were blessed to have Halvey from the other night, but also he went 40 pitches, so it's going to be a short burst. And we kind of want to use him and Lindsey as and Sewell, kind of three closers today in certain spots. And I felt like that was a swing part of the game. Who knows, maybe the kid, his pitch count was low. He's always very efficient. Maybe he can get into the eighth inning if we leave him in. I don't know. But in that moment, we just went with Halvey, and fortunately it worked out. I say to you guys all the time, and I actually said it to the team because we had a little bit of a discussion out there. Practice looks great. Lifting looks great. Lineup looks great when you win, and when you don't, you're subject to criticism. But that's kind of the way it should be. But it worked out for us in that situation, and I thought he threw the ball well. And those starters don't want to hear it because they're all very talented, but give us a chance to win the game by the middle of the game. And that's what all three of those guys did this weekend. Yeah, I mean, the presence is pretty good. I mean, sometimes you can see a guy if he's speeding through his routine, or he doesn't even look like he's breathing, or he overswings. And so there's a presence there that's a little abnormal for first year, and really just starting to collect his first few at-bats in the SEC. But it's a high level of skill set, and then, he's making progress too, and just kind of the way he approaches things, in particular at the plate. So it's a good guy to have around. And I think the future is bright for him. But currently, as it stands, he can be a really big part of this team. Already has been, and if he continues to improve, he definitely will be, if not more.
The big moment today was Aaron Cohn's strikeout there in the sixth. What did you see from him today, just overall this season?
Yeah, with him and Russell, and I don't think it was for Fitz, but first SEC action, you very easily could play chess with yourself mentally. Like, is this the same baseball, or is this different because it's conference play? And I don't think he necessarily did that. He went out there and competed, and their hitters were frustrating. They've got a good approach. They don't go away. They seem to have a really good understanding of the strike zone. So for him to be able to get out of that was great. But he threw strikes. He competed the way he does, even when it's not conference, which is, again, reassuring. But he's a guy that's establishing himself as someone that's not afraid to compete and has good stuff and that we trust.
How pleased were you with the consistency kind of up and down the lineup today?
It was great. I mean, we've been kind of searching for that feeling of some balance, and then also, hey, one guy might do something. I think there was a couple guys we could pick out in the lineup that just didn't have their best day at all. But some other guys did well. And this thing's all about team effort, and I thought this week the guys came together as much as they have. And that'll bleed into things like the lineup, or when you hand the ball off to a guy on the mound and he's going to pitch when you got a runner at first or whatever. It just does. I mean, I don't know why, but it'll bleed into that, and you'll see some success. And for today, if the guys are all kind of rallying around each other and determined to help each other out winning the game, then you kind of get a top-to-bottom success, a level of success for the lineup.
I know you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but your next four opponents are four top-5 baseball teams. Just how important was this weekend going into this gauntlet coming up?
Very. I mean, I didn't know that till you told me, so trying to have a nice relaxing Sunday from here on out. But I know Asheville's got, I think, the best record they've had since we've played them. So there's plenty ahead of us to prepare for, and there's also plenty for us to look forward to about making progress. I mean, the outfield defense, to me, was the unsung hero today. and that's an area where we needed to improve and continue to do so. So that's a real good spot. I think the base running has improved as well. So a lot of looking forward to how good we can get. But then I was going to say a little bit of reflection too of you come home from a bad road trip. It's time to get to work and show that you got some grit to you, and also get better in some areas, and we did that. So that's what stuck out to me with what we had this weekend.
It's a work in progress, but the more you see Dickey behind the plate, kind of what are you seeing from him in terms of improvement?
Yeah, I think he's good back there now. One ball cut on him kind of awkwardly, and then all catchers, you see extra movement back there these days, trying to steal strikes, and all the analytics are kept. But I think when he just tries to catch it and just throw it and not try and do too much in either category, he's equally as good as most of the guys either in our league or across. I don't know where you'd balance it out, but he's already a guy we trust. But I think a big key for him that I'm telling you, and maybe I need to tell him, is when he just stays within himself and just tries to catch the thing or just throw the thing, it's good. I've seen him, try and throw it 100 miles an hour to second base, and then the whole thing just collapses. But when he just flicks it down there like you're doing in between innings, it's pretty good. And certainly defensively, I know the pitchers trust him, and we do too.
What do you think when C-Scott made that diving catch to save it?
Yeah, that was massive. I'm glad he was out there, and then also glad he's in the program still. He's a good one to have around. We were texting last night about stuff totally irrelevant to baseball, but he's a kid that, like I said, is a joy to be around. But on the field, the battle he fought in his early years here is just being focused and being confident and having a kind of a level mood. And I'll be dang if he hasn't. I don't like to say anyone's figured anything out, because you're always kind of trying to evolve. But it's just such a more consistent and pleasant approach is the best way I can say it. And then on top of it, he can really run, and he's always been able to defend.
Jared mentioned yesterday, the meeting you all had on Monday, kind of talked about what Ole Miss did last year. What else was discussed in that meeting, and how did you kind of see the team respond from it?
I thought they responded well, and a part of it too was in this game, people call it a game of failure, which is kind of crazy. No one wants to play a game of failure. You want to play a kid's game. You put on a uniform, you act crazy if you hit the winning hit like we had yesterday, or you get mad. You don't want to throw your glove or anything, but if you strike out, you're frustrated. That's what kind of game you want it to be. And I think just kind of keeping it simple, and also kind of having a little bit of response to you, because getting back to my whole failure rant, you're going to get knocked down. So it's important to receive blows the right way and respond in the right way, and it was a good response week.
You have an update on Tavares and Wyatt?
Yeah, Wyatt, tomorrow we'll get on the mound and have a feel there where he's at. Swistak is another arm that'll do that tomorrow on the mound. And then KT's just been doing rehab, in the training room, instead of taking extra swings or running around out there, just getting that thing where he can come back as quick as possible. And I think it'll be sooner than later. But that's also one of those things, we don't want to go 2 steps forward, 1 step back.